one. Welcome to the Mother Knows Show. I am Mother Knows. I'm back. Episode number 4 of my podcast. Today, I am super excited. I simply adore this woman. Philly legend, okay? Hip-hop artist and singer Bahamadia's 1996 debut album Collage is rightly regarded as one of the greatest albums in hip-hop in the 90s. Today, we will catch up with her and see how she feels about today's female rappers and hear what she got going on. Welcome to the Mother Knows Show, the legendary Bahamadia.
Good morning, Mother. What's up?
Oh, Bahamadia, can I just tell you, I am super ecstatic, so hyped that you are on my show.
Thank you so much for having me. You never know who radar you on. You know what I mean? I listen to you, and I was so ecstatic when Miss Brown hit me up and was like, Mother, want to interview? I'm like, I'm sure.
First and foremost, let me just tell you, thank you. Thank you for your contributions to hip-hop music, my friend.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. It's more of a world music thing though, in electronica music, progressive music. You know what I mean? In terms of my album though, it's a definitive work, you know what I mean? And I feel like just being an organic hip hop artist, with a progressive and visionary outlook on things creatively. Sometimes you're ahead of yourself, you're ahead of the curve, So just being in the game like 30 years plus, I just appreciate still getting the acknowledgement and the support, you know what I mean? It's just like I said, it happens at sporadic times. You don't know who radar you on.
Well, you have always been on my radar. For those that are watching that are unfamiliar with Bahamadia, who is Bahamadia?
Bahamadia is so many different things, but in terms of artistry, a prolific, visionary artist. Oh, creative, you know what I mean? I'm gonna say, I don't know. I guess maverick. That's a better term for me, because I think that what my talent encompasses is more than just hip hop. You know what I mean? It just is. It's just whatever I do, it's gonna be forward thinking and progressive. So, a progressive creative.
When did you first fall in love with music, Bahamadia?
Since my childhood. I understand it to be my life's work because I was exposed to diverse styles of music coming up in my household. My mother sang, my grandparents sang, and it was just always artists always been around me, my formative years. So it's just innate for me to do what I do.
How did you get the name Bahamadia? I love it.
Well, it means, Badia means original creation. Alhamdulillah means thankful in Arabic. I don't remember the dialect. So I just combine the two words together because I feel like spiritually, whenever you say someone's name, you evoke a spirit attached to it. And so I'm thankful to be and grateful to be an original creation. You know what I mean? So I feel like that those two words encompassed who I embody as a person, as an artist.
Could you tell me a little bit about what it was like being a female MC in the 90s?
I just feel like, again, I'm a prolific artist, so I just feel like in terms of the 90s, that marked for me in terms of experience in hip hop. That was like the archetype of like what hip hop is now. Everything else after the 90s wave of hip hop is just a resurgence of what was initiated, because that was the last era where individuality and authentic and creative expression was celebrated on a mainstream level, you know what I mean? And now it's more underground. But I think the cultures and the eras now fuse together because of the way we communicate with the internet and stuff like that, It's like a plethora of artists out now internationally that are really, moving the needle forward in terms of sonically, in terms of just, just the overall approach of hip hop and getting back to the core aesthetics of hip hop, which was community, self-respect, the more positive aspects, varying away from the, what do you call it? Like the capitalist standpoint in the music, of business of music.
28 years ago, you dropped your debut album, Collage.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary,
Thank
Bahamadia.
Thank you.
What do you remember about recording this legendary album?
Um, one fun fact about it, it was so innate that I didn't have, and you know how like people artists go into the studio and they record like a volume of songs, maybe like 50 to 100 songs, and then they picked it, they narrow it down. Every song that I did on Collage was like mainly one takes, and it was all just what I did. I didn't have any surplus material, and then after that, I just went back to my life. I was a single mom of two, you know what I mean. In the system, and just finding a way out and finding my voice through hip hop through the
Mm-hmm.
platform. Because I was always into music. I studied percussions. I studied in house of music in my youth, and my parents got divorced, and then that led to me, you know, just being rebellious in the streets and this and that. And then from there, I started DJing, and I always wrote poetry and journaled as a child. It helped me with therapy. It was therapeutic for me. And then when hip hop came along, I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. But I focused more on DJing at the time because I was into percussion. Like I said, I went to music school for a stint in my youth. And then from there, I just started rhyming. You know what I mean? We had a battle in my community.
Mm-hmm.
The MCs didn't show up, and I knew the routines because I used to write them. So I said the rhymes, and I got the response that I got. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was fortunate enough to have a support system at home where even being a single mother or two, I was afforded the liberty and honor of still pursuing my dream in the midst of that. Unfortunately, my offspring got a chance to see me. They grew up seeing me pursue my dreams and they become realities. And now they doing it. They're entrepreneurs. They're in the
Absolutely.
fashion and
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 we're
all of
definitely
that.
going to talk
So,
about Mei Ling and Mahjong Wong
uh-huh.
later on.
Okay.
The album has so many gems on it, Bahamadia. Was there any songs on the album you wished were released? And what were your favorite tracks from Collage?
I was for again, like I came in the industry green, just being street smart, like even negotiating my own deal. Like I didn't know. I'm like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. That's how I saw it. So I was like, how can I don't know the industry, so let me learn it. So I got Donald Passman's book called All You Need to Know About the Music Business. Probably was like one of the earlier editions. I was so green and I took the book, I read the parts that I was supposed to read that protect me from publishing and the budget part. I took that up to the label and negotiated even more advancement for my budget. After that, David Segerson, he was the CEO of EMI at the time. They folded, and he wanted to take me with him, but they wound up letting me go. They wound up not shelving me and keeping me. You know what
No.
I mean? No, but that was a blessing for me because sometimes when they invest a lot of money, like they invested a lot of money into my promo. I had like 5 different videos for the album, I think 4 or 5 at the time. International. The first tour that I did was the Fuji's tour when they sold the 10 million. So imagine coming from single mom, bedroom recording, basement studio recording, and you thrust it on a world stage. You performing in front of 60, 70,000, 80,000 people a night. So I still, in these latter years, I'm still just coming up off of a dream state of that even becoming a reality. Like I never got the gist of me being who I was supposed to be in that context, so to speak. And I still tour at my leisure. So 30 years plus in the industry, like I can't complain coming from nothing to something,
I know that's right.
you know.
Out of all your albums you recorded, which one was your favorite?
All of them, because they all were different interpretation of where I was at the time. Like I don't write about anything that I haven't lived, that I don't know about firsthand, because I feel like it's a spiritual thing to be a creative. We have a huge responsibility to some of the people that may not know who they are spiritually, or they're not centered spiritually. They looking towards celebrity culture or artists that have a platform or people that have a platform to be some source of I'm just gonna say inspiration humbly. Because some people, as you see what's happening with the Diddy situation, and
Yes.
the con to celebrity culture. But there are a lot of people out there, they just looking for a way, and they gravitate towards the arts because it's so powerful. Vibrationally, it's real powerful, particularly music.
Absolutely.
So with all that being said, like every album that I've ever done, I'm honored to be able to articulate it on that level. So all of them, for different reasons, and they mean different things to me now. When if I ever go back and listen, because once I record my stuff, I don't listen to it unless I'm performing it, like it's out and it's done. I'm on something else.
I absolutely love you on Erica Badu's Love of My Life with Angie Stone and Queen Latifah. Come on, Bahamadia.
Girlfriends, but let me tell you something about that though. And this is a real awkward dynamic that I have too. Like being like to some people I'm considered a grassroots underground artist, right? DIY artist. Even though I came out on a major label, but I still have a footing in mainstream too, like relationships with people that platinum artists, people that I know that I inspired, you know what I mean, that inspire me as well in the community of the arts. So I don't want to just limit it to hip hop, because I do like electronica music and stuff like that as well. Ronnie Size, all those different things, a lot of firsts, and I think just being solid with who I am and content and comfortable with who I am to just be expressive the way I needed to be at that time and now. I lost my train of thought because I real bad. But what was your question?
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, Erica Badu.
Yes, and how was it working with such phenomenal women?
It was dope. I worked with Latifah before, Light, all the greats. With Erica, she invited me to come down, and we did it at Electric Lady, which I think is Jimi Hendrix's studio. So that was awesome. Common was at the session. It was real dope. That's when they were dating at the time.
Okay.
And she asked me to do it, and I just went in and did it. And it just was that. We all wrote our stuff. I don't know if they wrote their stuff on the spot, but I wrote mine on the spot. And it was supposed to be, conceptually, it was supposed to be us just freestyling. That's why all the different verses are different, and mine is talking about like shell tools and stuff, because she wanted to be more of a hip hop song, and then everybody just did their take on it. But it was awesome. The camaraderie was genuine, because a lot of times it's not the case. It's just all about a check and the marketing aspect of it. But I can honestly say a lot of the people that I've had the liberty of collaborating with, it's been organic,
How do you remain authentic?
Just being solid within yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know who you are. You have to have a relationship with the Most High. For me, I'm a believer in the ways and teachings of Jesus Christ. I don't call myself a Christian because I haven't seen in the Bible where Christ called himself a Christian. So I don't do that. But having a relationship with the Most High God, that's the only thing I can attribute it to, because it's bigger than me. Like, it's just, I don't even have a word to describe being considered one of the luminary artists in world music, with the core, discipline of hip hop. And then a woman of color on top of, like an indigenous woman on top of that. It's not too many people that garner that kind of respect and that kind of accolade. You know what I mean? So I can't even just say, I think I would be arrogant to just say that it's all about me and my talent. It was just a spiritual assignment that I was given and accepted.
Do you feel like you get decorated? I've talked about you in the past on the Rise and Grind Morning Show, and for me, I remember as a kid watching Video Music Box and seeing your video, you had me hooked. There is something special about you, Bahamadia, from the fashion to the lyrics. You are the truth.
Thank you. I think it's more, and then it wasn't nothing, again, being the first today, like the people that inspired me, the Shy Rocks, Queen Latifah, and I even can say MC Light in terms of the B-girlism, you know what I mean, the tomboy angle and everything.
Yes, because you had the Tommy Hilfiger and a polo.
All that kind of stuff, but then I would come out and I embraced myself in totality as an androgynous person, you know what I mean? And that was, I think that was forward thinking as well. But I was afforded the liberty in my household. I'm going to tell you a fun fact. When I first decided that I was going to professionally do music, I told my family, from the day that I told them, they accepted me for who I was. I told them what my name was. They accepted, they was even calling me that. That's rare. And they supported me from day one. When I had to go up to the studios, I remember I used to be taking my kids all to the, because I did radio at one time. I used to take the kids to the radio station, my nephew too, because he like my son, or they all around the same age. And I used to take them and let them see my son Manjin one time. He said, I don't like rap. And I was like, why? And he said, because it's stealing you from us. From when he was real little, from that day forward, I was like, they got to be more involved. When I showed them what I did, they caught the bug. The next thing you know, May writing rhymes and freestyling. Next thing you know, Manjin sketching and wanting to do. Now look what that evolved into with me being myself. That's why it's important to embrace your individuality, because it's not just about you. It's, you don't know who watching you or what you being yourself is can unlock in somebody else that you crossing paths with.
Facts.
You never know. You like this, like I didn't know I was on your radar, and I listen to you too, all the time.
I love you, and I've always
I
felt
love
like
you
you don't get the
too.
recognition you deserve. So this is my way of giving you your flowers, because real recognize real. And then we family.
Thank
I had
you.
no idea my unofficial niece, Mei Ling, is your daughter. When I found that out, I called her. I said, whoa, Nisi, your mother's Bahamadia? Get the fuck out of here.
Because you know what? You know why? Because I always keep a low profile. Number one. Number two, in terms of me not being celebrated, I'm solid within myself. So I was always me. Like I never needed the false, and I don't want to say self-sabotaging, because a lot of it, I always would go and do what I need to do, and then I'm off there. That's not my life. That's something that I do. That's my life's work. But I'm a mom. I got other dynamics in my life that need to be nurtured and cultivated as well. And I don't have low self-esteem. Like I never needed nobody to validate me, because I already had that. Was factory equipment for me, fortunately. And then I was 27 when I came in the game. I was a whole grown woman with 2 kids, so I wasn't young and impressionable. I wasn't gonna smut myself out. Once I saw the politics and the dirty side of the industry,
So
I knew
ugly, isn't it,
I knew I
Bahamadia?
wasn't gonna be involved in that on that level. Now, and I realized once I realized that it was relationship driven, I knew the politics was going to be involved. I was like, I'm not going to be getting down with this. I'm too strong-willed. I'm gonna do what I can do, and I'm gonna find a lane that works for me, and I'm gonna milk that. That's when I started touring overseas, and I always had a palette for when I used to hang out in the clubs and stuff, and for diverse music. You know what I mean? So I always was ahead of the curve. Now going forward, you got your Azalea Banks and all the different people. What's her name? Bree Runway. I think her name is Bree Runway.
Okay.
And all those girls that's doing the more progressive styles of hip hop. I love to see the disco and electronic and house music now fusing together. Though I feel like Latifah was a pioneer in hip house for women, but she doesn't get her credit for that.
Why is that? I said the same thing. I said more people focus on her being an actress than they do as a hip hop historian.
She a hip hopper first. And
Absolutely.
she'll let you know that too in no uncertain way. I think she's getting back to that now though.
We love the queen.
And stuff like that. She another one. She was one of the first women. Actually, Mecca from Diggable Planets was the first established female rapper and hip hopper that embraced me. Me and Guru and us, we was at the supper club in New York, and she approached me and introduced herself, and she kind of like showed me the ropes and everything. She was the one that empowered me to know that the team of people at the label, I'm signed to the label, but they work for me. She was the one that told me that I can exercise my creative voice for my album cover, that I can be more involved in picking my producers, all of that. She did that just because. And then Latifah, I remember one time I performed somewhere, Wetlands or somewhere in New York, and she was real huge then in the music, on the movies and all that, and she came down to my show, stayed for my whole event, came up, we was talking, because I was like startled that I was like, that Latifah. She's like, girl, give me a hug, and it was real. Ever since that, they like the same thing, even to this day. Shantae, the same thing.
Real love.
These people, because they recognize that and they understand the plight of what women in particular have to deal with in the industry when you don't compromise your body and your spirit and soul like that. It's a scenic route, but I'm built for it, so I'm maturing gracefully. I ain't mad. I'm working when I want to. Blah blah blah.
And you look fabulous
Thank
while
you.
doing it.
Thank you.
Let's talk about today's femcs because it is a mess, and I am probably the biggest fan of female rappers from Salt and Pepper to MC Light to Queen Latifah, Bahamadia, Sweet Tea, the list goes on. Moni Love, I can continue. Isis, oh my.
Wow, you a
Yo
hip-hop
Yo.
head.
I love the ladies because I felt like the ladies always spoke to me. So to see all of this madness today, it behooves me. It was not like this in the 90s. There was camaraderie. There was sisterhood. And now you cut on the goddamn Twitter. This one is fighting with each other. This one is arguing. This one is calling each other names. What is it going to take for women to thrive in peace successfully in hip hop?
You know what? I feel like you're talking about, there's a distinct difference between rappers and MCs and hip hop culture and rap culture. Mainstream, the commercialization in hip hop are entertainers, so they put the culture last. Even if some of them were influenced by that, it to me it boils down to what your goals are. If you're an entrepreneur, business person, and you sign a deal, then you definitely sign your soul away. You're definitely doing it. Me too. Because if you sign a deal, your soul, your thoughts and stuff, you signing a deal to express yourself. So it's not about selling out per se. That's the goal, is to sell out. It's just not at the expense of your soul and your integrity. For me, that's for me. And I feel like the origins of hip hop, when it first started, it started out as a tool. It was rooted in youth culture, but a lot of the first wave of hip hop was adult stuff, and I think that's why more substance was presented too. Angie B and them was grown women. When you remember before, back then wasn't no videos on, they wasn't even an album cover, so you had to actually go to the show to see them. I remember in the youth, I was like, damn, they grown. No wonder it's substance or whatever in the music. And I think at a certain time, I think in the 90s when Lil Kim, because my album, Kim and Foxy Brown album, our albums was
around the same.
Anticipated around the same time. They didn't know what to do with me because they had never seen anything like me.
I'm sure.
They never seen it. Even though Medusa was on the West Coast at the time, she had her afro and everything, but I'm talking about on a mainstream platform. They had the deal and all of that. I think she had a deal too, but she didn't get the support that she needed. And I didn't know her at the time. So, but when our albums came out, they were highly anticipated, the first thing. But secondly, I feel like Kim's representation in the music, in the industry of music, right? That was the most pivotal moment for women because they had mastered the formula for how to market and package sex. So that's why she's been like her. There's never been anything new added to what Kim contributed to hip hop. Again, even in that aspect of it, that was the last, in the 90s was the last wave of individuality, whatever it happened to be, whatever your form of self-expression was.
Agreed.
And I always embraced, I remember in interviews, they used to always try to get me to say derogatory things about Kim. I was like, no, that's not my thing. But I knew a Kim. I grew up with a Kim. I used to hustle with a Kim. I know these people. So, and then the success of her as a solo artist is indicative of the times. Obviously, it's a whole wave of people that lived their life because she wouldn't have been successful. And she never came in like she was this lyrical person to me. I felt like her bottom line was monetary gain anyway. That's how she came in the game. So that was for her, but this was my route. My route was more creative expression, more, holistic, approach, more therapeutic rhymes, more inspirational. That was me, and, everybody here, there's so many different diverse voices, but I think there needs to be a balance, in the mainstream particularly. But, that's rearing its head in the organic scene now, too. It's like everybody sound the same. Everybody want to be super lyrical. And it's like, but a lot of them are just like, what do you call that? I don't want to say a parody, It's almost like a cosplay. And I mean that in any way that it's taken, because there had to be people that had to bring a word of correction to certain things to be to move forward.
Absolutely.
So I just feel like even if you're a mainstream artist, at least put a spin on, assess assess the markets and the demographics that you targeting, and attempt to supply something that's foreign, something that hasn't been exploited. It's a lot of new territory to chart. It's a lot of voices that still need to be heard, and even your own. You know what I mean? Some people hide behind all of that. Tell your story, because there's a lot of people that could be set free from that. So that's what I like to see more of, and a more genuine camaraderie amongst women, because people will see you toiling. That's artists overall, though. Because I know there are a lot of men that have taken from my aesthetic as well. I can even say like the Kendricks. I could say the J. Cole's.
And they're beefing. It's crazy. Foolishness. I never thought in a million years I would see J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar exchanging jabs.
But do you think that's more marketing though? Because you're looking at somebody like this. If this is organic hip hop culture, then it would extend to battle. They got battle leagues and stuff like that now.
True.
They have a lot of, and they got huge platforms.
And perfect promotion for J. Cole. He just dropped the album,
which could do a lot for the culture in that aspect. But it depends on what your goal is, who your strategists are, and what your bottom line is. But we not going. We got to stop exploiting hip hop on that level. Even as hip hoppers, we don't have the right to do that. Even if we are hip hoppers, that's the issue. And there's so many different ones. Hip hop journalism is another one. This is the only culture that people can literally appoint themselves a position, and if they got contacts in the computer, they become that thing. It's kind of like awesome to be able to bring something out of nothing, because that's like one of the spiritual foundational pieces to hip hop culture overall and the movement of it. But at the end of the day, still study to show yourself approved, because every other genre does that.
Absolutely.
Every other genre does that. See, they don't want me talking to a lotto. They don't want a Bahamadia.
But we need you.
We do need that. We need more mentorship.
Yes, we do.
But you know what? I gotta be honest. Like some of the seasoned states, men and women and practitioners in hip hop had to humble themselves too, because we in a different time. I work with youth, so I got a liberal, open mind, but you gotta respect where they are. We in sight and sound now. It ain't going back to what it was back then. But I think the competitive edge, or the edge that we have overall, is our insight and our wisdom. Because that's what's lacking. They got everything else down. They know how to get to a dollar. They know how to maneuver, network. They got the cooperative economics down to a pat. I gotta commend this generation and the one previous, that they know how to collaborate. They know how to get to a bag, but they don't have the wisdom applied to make it where if one of us eat, then all of us eat. Generationally, that's what's missing. And that's our generation. Is we supposed to be the liaisons in between traditional sensibilities and what the youth culture is. But we not young. You young in spirit, but you need to understand and draw a boundary, a healthy boundary with the culture, with the youth culture. And we not doing that. We trying to catch up. Like, you had your time. You had your time. This your position now. Collaborate. Who do I know? Can you think of any artist that's out currently that got that? They collaborating with I can almost say Drake.
Yeah, he's a sure go-to.
Yeah, because Drake, he embraced the up and coming artist, but I don't know if it's more business than it is actually culturally though for him. It's still a smart move though, because at least he in a position to give you an example of how that can be successful. I think Kanye West doing it too, somewhat. I like what MC Light is doing.
I love her.
That's my girl. Yeah, I love what she's doing. And it's just too far in between of us that I can't. I should be able to rattle off more names.
Like a machine gun, right?
It keep on being the staples. It keep being the staples. Yeah.
we talked about conforming earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Did record labels ever ask you to change your image, sex it up? I want to know, Bahamadia.
That's what I'm saying. Look, my situation was so unique. First of all, I was signed to rest in power Guru from Gangstar.
And we got to talk about that too. How did you
He's,
meet DJ Premier and Guru?
Okay, so when I met, this how I met. Okay, I had Phone 5 had come out. It was all through relationships. This guy named Chris, they're from down the way. He was in the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the most, traditionally handsome guy, but he used to throw that shit on. He just was always fashion forward. He could dance real good. He was well connected. Me and him was cool. He found out through I think somebody was having a ski party. DJ Ram was DJing there, and he said, "You still DJ?" I said, "No, I'm rapping." You rapping? I said, "Yeah." He said, "They looking for a female artist." He gave me the number. He had DJ Rand's contact on it. I called him. He asked me to come up there. I guess he probably wanted to see what I look like or whatever. I freestyle for him. We start working together. When we start working together, an opportunity came up for him to executive produce an EP. We did Funk Vibe over the phone. He contacted me, and it was a live pass. You know how they do like beats or whatever?
Yeah.
He did that on the turntables. So this how crazy the song. Okay, so we did Funk Vibe. We did over phone. He said, "I'm rapping the verses or whatever." He passed it out. Okay, we gonna go in the studio. We go in the studio later. The song start hitting, start charting in Gab, and that's when they had all the publications for at Gavin magazine and all that, Hits magazine, all that charts and stuff like that. That led to Guru hearing it. Special Ed heard it first. Special Ed heard about me first.
Shout out to Special Ed, Brooklyn in the house.
Special Ed, and then Guru had heard about me through this girl from South Philly that my sister went to junior college with. Her cousin was dating Guru or something, and I found out, and I was like, Trey, my sister named Tracy. I was like, Trey, get this tape. The girl name was to Cecily. I said, get this tape to Cecily to get to her cousin that mess with Guru. She gets the tape. He liked the tape. Him and Premier, they had a show at, was not Lumberjack, it was one of them clubs. It used to be on it was on Penn's campus. It's an Indian restaurant or something now. It's been like many different things. Anyway, in University City, he was they had Gangstar had a show. And I went down there, me and Ursula Rucker, you know Ursula, who she is. We went down there and watched them perform and everything like that. I think De La Soul was performing too. Went down there, we exchanged numbers and stuff like that. Next thing you know, it just turned into a thing. He submitted paper, and a lot of people wanted to sign me. I signed to his production company, Ill Kid Records. He was to shop me a deal, but we recorded Total Wreck, and I thought that was going to be the first of many songs that we recorded. He put that. He was like, we doing a video. I thought he was talking about the Gangstar video they was doing. I go up New York. We shoot the video for Total Wreck, and it started blowing up. So then it became a bidding war. That's when it was a lot of people involved, and Bad Boy was one of the people that was bidding. It was a lot of different people, but I wound up deciding to go with Guru because I was already a supporter of Gangstars, and I felt like sonically the jazz influence and the traditional boom bap, that just sounded like it would complement me more. I felt like that was the best fit. So and from there it was a thing. It's been my life ever since that, and that's how that happened. It was crazy. Everything that was crazy. Again, hustling and turning it relationship oriented. The 6 degrees. You never know who you connected to. All of that. And then he just supported me. So when I went to record the album, they gave me carte blanche there, meaning they did not bother me at all. I came in here, even my afro, because my hair used to be real long, and
I love the afro, by the way.
Let me tell you how that happened. I was going to lock my hair up, and I was like, no, I gotta cut my hair. It's too long. This guy named Jamal, he was cutting. He cut my hair. I was at a club, and it was somebody was in there, and they had an afro. It was a girl and it was a guy too. And I was like, that would be cute. Paid it no mind. And I'm like, who cut your hair? And they was like, Jamal. I got the number. The guy Jamal cut my hair. When he cut my hair, they had a poetry slam at the last drop. I looked in that mirror. I was like, this is cute. And I had a photo shoot the next day. I had to go to New York the next day. He was like, let me shape it a little bit. He shaped that joint. I was like, I'm leaving. I said, I was nervous. I said, I'm gonna test it at the thing. So we went to the last drop poetry reading, and everybody was like, sis, you're here. They just kept complimenting it. The next day I went to go do a photo shoot with the coat and everything that wound up being a collage cover. That wasn't even it. That was supposed to be a photo shoot.
Get out of here.
The photos was so sick, and I was like, that's right there.
That's it.
That's me right there. Even the side I look, I pick my own pictures. They ain't bother me at all. They ain't bother me at all. In fact, the layout, everything I ever did, the studios I went to, everything, they just let me. I thought that was how it went. And then that and getting to talk with Mecca when I told you she was showing me the ropes, I just had the fuel to do whatever in terms of that. Yeah. And that's how it went. And then when they found out that I was writing my own material, because a lot of time they had like the ghostwriters and stuff for the females and stuff like that, in terms of authentic expression for the female voice in hip-hop, collage was the first one. It was a definitive work, hands down. And I've traveled the world for almost 30 years. I still have yet to receive my platinum plaque, but I was shipped platinum with no returns though. And I've been traveling. When I tell you traveling to remote Sofia, Bulgaria, like these odd places, like how did my music get all the way around the world like that and I not be a household name? That's when I knew it was different.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, to this day, I'm unwavering in compromising my integrity and my soul. And I'm just not going to do anything financially. I'm just not going to do that. I also own all my publishing as well.
Good for you.
Yeah. I own the masters to my third, Good Rap Music. That was the first financed project. I was in financial ruin, and God blessed me with like about 10 to 15,000 out the blue, because somebody that went to college was a fan of my Brett somebody, I forgot his last name, but he's a huge Hollywood producer now for films.
Don't tell me Brett Ratner.
Brett's his name. Brett Ratner. Look, he contacted my lawyer and was like, these are the people that's Bahamadia. Look, I'm like, for real? He was like, yeah, I'm a fan. He licensed one of my songs. Was it 3 the Hard Way? For his, I think the movie was called Dynamite or something like that. Something like that. And he licensed the song. And I took that money and financed Good Rap Music with it. Yeah. I had a lot of stories like that. People that I didn't know I was on their radar, and they call me talking about that. I'm like, you know who I am. I don't say nothing like that, but I just be like, for real, like, thank you God, I ain't know. Brett, yeah. That's how my things be happening. And people probably be looking at my social media and wondering, she's still doing it. How is she doing this? I'm transparent though. Because if you ask me, I'm going to have to attribute that to the Most High God. It can't be just me. I'm in position to receive those blessings.
Come on,
but
now.
I gotta say that. And I hope I'm inspiring people that's been watching me this far. Even the people that convince themselves that they hate me. Because
who hates Bahamadia?
No, now, you're going to have opposition. You know
true.
You can't progress without opposition. I'm saying they have convinced themselves, because really all it is contaminated love. That's all it is. It's the level of misunderstanding and frustration. That's what I'm saying. Like, where I get that kind of insight and wisdom from? You humans don't have that. But I share that because somebody paid it forward in my life. I was, afforded those kind of talks and seeing people like that, and just, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here and to see the fruits of my labor. So if I never physically receive those flowers, I am receiving them, because I see the harvest that me being courageous enough to be myself has afforded generations. Like, I've influenced generations of hip hoppers. I'm very aware of who I am and my contribution to the music. That's the way I was wired. Like, nobody can convince me that I'm not, and I show up as who I am, and that's why I'm respected. You can't invite me somewhere and think that I ain't gonna come in here like I'm royalty, because I know that I am.
Come on now.
I wouldn't have got the invite if I wasn't there. See, that's the business part. And I share that so people will know, because this game is real. It's a lot of trickery, you know.
I know.
Communications overall.
Real fickle.
But our voices, even just the vibration of our voices and what we represent, that's a spiritual thing that we're going to be held accountable for when we leave here. Because we the ones that's been entrusted by the Most High God to be gatekeepers to lead these people where they need to be at, which is in that direction to Him in a relationship with Him. And that's the bottom line.
That's deep.
So I don't play with that, you know. And honestly, like, some of this stuff was a bit self-sabotaging, because like I said, I'm a private person, and all the stuff that come with the fanfare and the public paparazzi and all that, like, I can do what I want to do. You might see me in a Netflix documentary, and then
which was good too, by the way.
Yeah,
Women in Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good, Bahamadia.
That's another one of my girlfriends. See, people don't know who I'm. They don't know. You don't know, and just because you don't see me and I'm not perceivingly active, that don't mean that I still ain't in the loop and connected, though. You know. But whatever, you know. I appreciate you sharing your platform with me. I really do.
Anytime. I wouldn't have it any other way. I think this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is my job. So if I got this seat and this microphone, I'm going to do it. God has blessed me to give back. And Patti LaBelle says it best. When you've been blessed, you pass it on.
That's true.
You better recognize.
That's true.
Real recognize real.
Real.
Why can't there be 2 female rappers in the game? Bahamadia, please explain this to me.
What?
Why can't there be 2 female? It's always one at a time.
Because you just, the key word is rapper. We talking about industry. We talking about the business of music. And the corporate cog that has, like, decimated with hip-hop culture. The fun aspects of it, the hobbyist approach to it, the lifestyle of it wasn't as marketable on that level. That's why we ain't talking about hip-hop when we talking about rappers. We talking about a marketing tool. And then let's talk about terrestrial radio too, because that's a huge part of it. The demographic of people that support the music that's programmed to be on from the playlist and the streams and all that stuff. Who are those people? Who are those people targeted towards? And what products are being advertised and promoted to those same demographics of people? That's what it boils down to. It boils down to marketing and advertising dollars. You know that you on radio. That's the bottom line to that. So what's your goal specifically? That's why when I hear artists get frustrated, they're not playing it. You don't fit the format, and you haven't educated yourself enough to know what the protocol is.
It's not personal. It's business.
It's business, and you nothing that you do. Even also, this broke my heart though. A lot of the people can be exceptionally talented. We can see that on TikTok. We see that on social media. There's so many phenomenal people that it's surreal the amount of talent that we have just at our fingertips these days. But a lot of those people going to leave here and their dream not going to be realized on the main platform because they don't understand the business. It don't have nothing to do with your talent.
It's 2 parts. There's show and then there's business.
And a prime example, I love Sweetie, and I feel like Sweetie is evolving.
Me too.
She's a marketing dream in terms of pretty, she's marketable. But her music is not connecting. But she on the loop. She in the loop.
Oh, yes, she is.
Whoever her management team, and matter of fact, shout out to Sweetie's management team. Because that girl is in position all the time. And it's a prime example of having the right team, the right strategists, who have the right connections, who understand the vision and positioning of an artist I don't know if I can call her artist though. Because art from a traditional standpoint is what? It's the expression of life. I guess I can call her that. Because the way she expresses herself is relative to a certain demographic of people, and women particularly as well. And I think she onto something with that Pretty Girl.
Oh,
right?
Yes, she is.
She found her lane now. That 90 joint. See, people
You
don't
know about 99.
Because I'm a hip hopper, because I love the culture of hip hop, and because I love rap music as well when it's done tastefully. That should be on my radar. I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I am. But yeah, I think she finally found her. It's about finding your voice too. She another one. She started out like that. You knew when she stepped on the scene again, like Kim. You knew when they stepped on the scene, they was about a bag. They ain't try to act like they was a lyrical miracle, nothing. They owe that to themselves to be honest to themselves about what their goals are, and if the trajectory happen to be more financial than creative, organically creative, then who's to say that they wrong? I just feel like it needs to be a balance. If anything,
that's all that's missing.
More. That's all that's missing. A lot of people can exist. We can coexist. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot to be learned from those different business models as well. I'm rapping too much right now, though. I need my own podcast.
Listen, speak it into existence.
I've been approached a few times. But do I want to make the kind of time for it? It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. And that's what people don't understand. There's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. You have to be consistent. People expect results overnight. Mm-hmm. It takes time. We're building here.
And it's man against machine. Like, you got to understand, too, like, a lot of the stuff, you got to have at least one or two people to support you. You cannot do this by yourself. You can have the tools and stuff to get up and running, but I'm talking about the editing, the strategizing, it's so much. I know because I did radio for a while, and I just see that as in the same schematic. It's just that it's the more virtual.
And I say the same thing every day. Mm-hmm. This is my 4th episode. I just started because people keep asking me, when are you coming back? When are you going to do a podcast? I'm like, listen, I don't have time for this. It's a lot, but I'm making time. Mm-hmm. I'm editing my videos. I'm uploading stuff. I'm in charge. This is my show. Mm-hmm. This is my brand. So if I'm not fully in tune to it, who will be?
Exactly.
I can't expect Joe Schmo to come in here and do something for me. What happens when he don't show up?
Yeah.
I got to get information and make this work.
Yeah. Exactly. For real.
And speaking of work, you worked the runway on Project Runway. Come on now.
Yo, we had some fun. Let me tell you how that happened.
Tell me how that happened. I was shocked to see. I was shocked to learn that Maj, once again.
I know, because
that's your mother.
Road. Look, so it's the other raps. You know what touched me though? That what's his name?
Tim Gunn.
Tim Gunn. He knew who I was, but didn't know that was me. This man, when they found out who I was, because the makeup artist knew, and the camera people knew, they was in New York, so they knew. But we had to sign an NDA, so you couldn't disclose what it was.
Okay.
I kept calling my G, and I was like, I thought he was in LA somewhere. I was like, he must be working his behind off, new collection or something. His wife called me and was like, they want you to come. They gonna call you, because she know I'm particular about giving out my numbers and stuff. They called. They was like, I said sure. So they arranged for us to come, and they treated us well. Went up there. They didn't know. My Gene and them didn't know the mothers was coming up there. We rolled up in there, and everybody knew. They knew, but I didn't know that they knew about my artistry. And like a day or two later, Mr. Gunn came to me and started addressing me by my stage name, and apologized for not knowing. When I tell you, that was the most humbling. Heidi, like, these people, these is icons. And it was surreal, because you don't see yourself like that. Like, I don't know. I don't see. I'm sure, like, it's you have people that fan out when they see you or whatever. You don't see I could tell you grounded. You don't see.
Not at all.
Sometimes you be like, oh, okay.
And they think you're being shady, but you're not.
You're not being shady. First of all, you be taken aback, because that's what you do. You know, you ain't looking at. You ain't in it for that. And so, they treated me nice, but we had a ball. That was another healing experience.
You looked beautiful. You were bold. You were strong. You were courageous. You were a warrior in all black. That leather number that Majin designed for you was the one.
And that's another thing too. Now you see, he another one. The different, like, I think, but I like to see him. I feel like he experiencing some of what I experienced in the music, in terms of I don't know how to put it, promotion. I'm going to attribute it to timing, though, because, you got to be spiritually ready to be dealing with all that fanfare, too. Mm-hmm. You do.
Starts up
here. Because it's a lot. Yeah, you got to be sound. But a lot of like the style lines and all that anime and stuff, he was doing that first. He didn't invent the color block. No, he didn't. But incorporating the style lines and the superhero, my son, and you know, he revolutionized that. And you see Balmain, Gaultier, all these names, they bit that from my son.
So shout outs to another trailblazer.
Trailblazer, but that's the lineage that they come from. Sometimes your life, because I feel like you a first fruit too. I can sense that you are. Some of the things that you may have experienced in your past, in your trailblazing years, they was seeds for somebody else to come along and pick up. When you had that much influence and impact, you can't think that it's all about you and just you prospering. At some point, you're gonna grow to that. I had phases though. It took me years to grow to this level of spiritual maturity. Because it's disheartening, especially when you pay forward. Like I've actually paid forward into some careers, like DJ Drama. A lot of people don't know he was the DJ for me. And
wow!
I was going to take him to Europe. He hasn't forgotten. But these is Talib Kweli is another one.
Shouts to Talib Kweli. We went to school together.
You know Talib.
Good dude.
He is a good dude. He cracks me up. A lot of different people. So it's like paying it forward to these people. But these people are household names that have gone on to win Grammys and stuff. And you still toiling, not finding your voice, but you still doing the work, but it's perceivingly not as celebrated as some of your counterparts or people. That can be very frustrating and disheartening, you know. But allowing myself to feel that at one point in my life, like disappointed, like even with God, like what is you doing? Like you see this going on, like I'm real with myself, what are we doing? Like this don't look like, you know, why are you allowing these people to do X, Y, and Z? And then one time God was like, in my prayer, like he was like, is it about you or is it about me? I was floored. And I realized a lot of that was ego driven. Would I have been prepared for that? No, I might have been a mess. I was a totally different person than I am today. But being able to be triumphant over all those different hardships and still be standing here solid like this, you know, and look what's coming out now. Look at all the stuff that I would have been affiliated with. Sometimes the rejection is protection.
That's a message.
Even people that I used to party with, a lot of them not even here no more. You know. But I'm still standing.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
What you got planned next?
Well, I never stop creating.
I know.
I do production and stuff like that.
Constantly working, overseas, taking flights.
Exactly. Yeah, I do. I be in my bag. But also work in the mental health field as well. Children on the spectrum. And I'm into technology somewhat. But I love apps and stuff. My thing is smarter, not harder. So I had pioneered a production approach called mobile production, where you take the phones, and everybody doing it now, but it wasn't really a thing back then. Like doing albums on my phones and stuff like that. I had a product endorsement deal from Native Instruments. They gave me like equipment and stuff like that. So I was using one of their tools at the time, which I wanted to parlay into, leverage into my own signature app. But I just got to connect with some developers that's not willing to like try to take my idea. Because you know certain things.
Oh, I know.
You know how that goes.
I know.
And so so mainly that, and then producing and stuff like that. Still writing, recording. I got several albums in the tuck, but I've been reluctant to release any of the music.
Why?
Just because I need to understand. Because I put so much into my art, and I don't want it to go on deaf ears. Like that's disheartening for you to. And it's a different dynamic now. Like you got to be doing a whole lot of multitasking and internet, social media. Now they done changed the algorithm for TikTok, so now you got to have like the port. You know how to updated that now. You know all that. I'm like every time I get a kind of like a grasp on something, I gotta do this. So that's what it is, and me being selfish too. You know, but I'm eventually gonna have to let it go. I just don't know when. But the way this world going, I don't know. It need to be soon. The last one I did was We Here. That's when I was going to do their project. That's done too.
Okay.
But I wound up dropping the video premature. I ain't gonna say premature. I dropped it because I wanted to, because I got my own label and stuff now too. I've been had that for a while.
Salute,
People are
congratulations.
thank you.
It's nothing like having your own.
Okay. It's really not. And one time Jermaine Dupri a few years ago had said something about female rappers.
Strip hop.
Remember he said that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I'm gonna do this empowerment joint. So I dropped this song called We Here with the visual to that. That was the last physical thing I did in my Dialed Up series.
But Bahamadia, let's be honest. I know when he said it, he got a lot of backlash. But look at where we are today. But no disrespect to none of the women. But
it's not,
I don't even know what to say.
It's not, but he hypocritical in that stance because while even though the Brat was this female artist he had at the time, right? First platinum female artist, shout out to the Brat. And she's written a lot of hits as well. Mm-hmm. She don't get enough accolades for that. But at the end of the day, the content that he promoted, his music was still affiliated with their lifestyle. So that's like somebody doing a rally with the mayor about put the guns down.
Right.
But all you talking about is trap and this and that. You can't be in both of them dynamics. Either you're gonna be on this side or you not.
Pick a side of the fence.
Yeah, I think that's what one
little
of the things
hypocritical.
I think that's one of the things that Meek Mill was struggling with. You know what I mean? Like when he was doing that prison reform and all of that, and I know for a fact that he was giving community time when he wasn't even on community service. Because I used to work at this homeless teen shelter that he had took under his wing, and he donated a considerable amount of money to them and everything. And he would just pop up and do a lot of work with no cameras, none of that, rock by himself. So I know he was in the trenches like that. I just feel like it's unfortunate what he going through right now, potentially. And I just wish that Meek, I don't know if you even hearing this, but I just wish the best for you, no matter what the circumstances, because he's still from Philly and he came a long way.
Yes, he has.
I respect him tremendously.
Final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that I hope everybody be themselves and they, find out the truth of who they are through the Most High God. Jesus Christ is Lord. I gotta say that.
Amen. That is episode 4 with the Queen, the living legend from Philadelphia, my girl, Bahamadia. Bahamadia, once again, thank you so much. Your presence alone means everything to me. Oh. And now that we've had an hour worth of conversation, I think I'm an unofficial Wong. Mother knows Wong.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, my friend. I love you.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a wonderful time.
Anytime. Don't be a stranger, right?
I won't.
Say no more. Love you.
Love you too.